I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, this summer's been an exciting time for the arts cultural community in Joplin. We heard about the new Arts Center in Joplin. We're also having successful First Thursday art shows, and today we're going to find out about cultural designation for downtown Joplin. And joining me is Linda Teeter. Thank you very much for being here today.
Hello.
I know people have heard for a while about, lots happening in Joplin. What are your feelings as we're starting summer, as far as just in general, before we get into the specifics about the arts in Joplin right now?
Well, right now there's a lot of opportunity to see great shows like at Spiva Center for the Arts, Urban Art Gallery downtown, classes and fun opportunities for your kids to go to different art camps. Local Color has an art camp, Spiva has an art camp. Opportunities to have everybody embracing some form of the arts. Mm-hmm. And in the future, of course, we're going to have more dance and visible, entertainment. Mm-hmm. Other than going inside to a building. You can be seeing some things on the outside. We have also, of course, the community gathering of the third Thursday, mm-hmm. Which we would call kind of the street festival. Then we have the art walk on another Thursday night. So we have many opportunities to come down, eat, drink, and enjoy the beauty of the architecture, the historic merit, as well as being entertained and free, family-friendly, wheelchair accessible. It's wonderful.
Great. So a lot of things happening, and now we're talking today about an arts district designation.
Yes.
And for our viewers, they probably remember a month or so back, the City Council talked about it and approved it. But let's start off with some background. First of all, I guess, how do you define an arts district? How does that broad term define?
Well, you look at trying to focus where most of the happening is, and in our case, we want to also develop as a downtown historic area. Mm-hmm. So since we do have that already as a designated area, it was trying to find more of an opportunity to have an arts focus, where we're trying to be more inclusive of arts businesses and nonprofits, various type of art forms for people to come live and work in these spaces. So the homework was to try to look at other communities that have districts that are for culture or art, which is, to me, any use mm-hmm. of the word art is a cultural aspect.
So they tie together, right?
Absolutely, and arts is entertaining. Mm-hmm. So in looking at different places that I could drive to within a day trip, I found, many other arts districts, and I looked at them and I asked them questions, and some of them sent me their mission statements, their bylaws, their financing, how they work, and they were very, very wonderful to share, because we all have that same interest of trying to improve our areas. And the Tulsa Arts District was very fascinating, and they have just taken over as Tulsa Arts District, used to be known as the Brady District. Right. And you've got King's Ballroom and different theater, entertainment venues down there that are very, very frequented and somewhat famous in the region. And you have many wonderful boutiques and art galleries and spin-offs of the major galleries are putting smaller versions in this area. You've got also a ball team at the end of the corridor. Mm-hmm. Just wonderful restaurants and different things going on. And so I asked, when I see this Tulsa Arts District, how are you working yours? And they gave me their information. So it's been wonderful to do the homework and to learn and get some ideas of how we can make this a wonderful opportunity.
So really, there's no starting from scratch. There's other people who have things in place, and you're trying to pick their brains, learn the best ways to do things.
I mean, it's the why and reinvent that wheel, mm-hmm. but we need to make it our own. Right. But to pick up some of these ideas and this homework that they've already done, and regulations, rules, etc. Different states have different right. ones, but different counties, different cities. But it's a place to start, and I've kind of worked on this for I would say probably by now a year. But it was very wonderful that in May that we did get the resolution, and the resolution does say that this corridor of 56 blocks is now known as Joplin Arts District.
Okay. Now the steps to the resolution, did that depend on any sort of state legislation in order to allow the city to be able to do this?
It did not. Mm-hmm. Basically the city has that authority, okay. and we were able to get this done, and then later on, if one is looking at financing monies for the district, to be able to use for people within that district, those opportunities would have to go through more of a city or county or state paperwork. And these are all things for the future, but at this time, the most important thing is we do have 56 blocks, which is going from B Street to 12th Street.
So it's a long stretch right through the center.
Pennsylvania to Wall Street. So you have 4 wide, 12 long, and so, well, actually 14 long. So what we're looking at, this is really right now where it's happening, the happening spaces and growth opportunities. So it's not exclusive to anybody, but it's to be very inclusive of anyone that's involved in the arts. Boutiques, galleries, individual studios, musicians, dance, all of this, nonprofit offices that work with the arts. And we have, I was looking at different people right now, we have about 20 in that area
that are already
established and known. And this now would be, you know, if you were wanting to move your office or open up something, this is now a time to think about, ooh, this is the area I should be in. Because the more we grow it as a cultural celebration, a destination will arrive. A destination is very important because that makes it a tourist attraction, which means it will impact the whole economic development of this area, which benefits the whole community, all the city of Joplin. To have people come off of I-44 and turn to go down Main Street to the downtown Joplin Arts District, which is also known as an historic district, which branches off to Murphy's Boulevard, Murfreesburg, and it will branch off to East Town. So you were on Route 66. There's so many different ways that we can push other communities so close to us to have that traffic and that volume and economic development.
So you mentioned destination. It's beyond just giving something to the people who live in town. It's trying to bring people from out of town. I know we mentioned tourism. That's something we've heard for many years as far as the tourism efforts. People are driving down Interstate 44. Give them a reason to stop and come to town.
Well, you have to be unique. You have to be authentic and having your own identity, something that you're known for. So we have to emphasize our creativity, our individual creativities, and we really got to focus on, like that cultural center, the arts and entertainment, Cornell Complex that's coming in is a huge part of the puzzle. You have to have an art walk, you have to have galleries, you have to have arts businesses, you have to have boutiques, and of course you've got to have the great mom-pop restaurants and bars, and we have those, and we'll have more. And so we have to have events, we have to have anchors, which anchors to me will be houses that have mixed use with the artists living upstairs and their studios downstairs that could be open for so many hours where people again could come shop or look or watch live, you know, what you're doing. You might be painting. That you would have clear signage, and signage right now is my priority, is branding, the logo, the certain things that we need so we can all be using them in our advertising.
So that identity is one of the first steps. We may have this resolution or this something's been passed as far as the designation, but you need to start letting people know about it.
Yes, because with that, then we can market, we can promote, get all of the businesses that are within this 56 blocks to add this little bit to all their advertising that they put print, their Facebook page, etc., that your location is now in this arts district, Joplin Arts District, would be just part of your verbiage. And it's not going to cost anything to do that, and it's going to help brand that area. And also, it's going to help you look like one of the identifiers of the vibrancy that we have to have. Excuse me. Vibrancy is a key factor always in developing any cultural center because you have to stand out.
It's got to be a reason for people to
You have to
notice,
stand out. In research, I was looking at what's called Arts Place America, and they use vibrancy as an indicator to give a loan to a non-arts business. They look at non-arts placemaking, of the impact of putting their investment in that community on the number of arts-related businesses that's already established. the presence of nonprofits arts organization as part of the identifying that this is an active art neighborhood, because arts around a business help that business thrive.
So it's more than just one factor, it's many factors tied together.
So it's not just looking at those in the arts, it's those that aren't in the arts. Because if I'm going to invest in you, I need to know there's vibrancy around you. How are you going to get business in your door? What is going to attract them to go down your street, to get to your sign, to know you're in that business? These are the things that we're going to bring to the table, because we're going to be talking about that all the time. Arts entertainment is the focus to make the destination. But bringing in everybody involved in that, the small mom-pop shops, all arts businesses are small.
They're all smaller scale, right?
We're all small businesses, and we're going to make this work. We're going to make this thrive. We're going to be like the Tulsa Arts District, Crossroads in Kansas City, the River Market in Kansas City, the Moon City in Springfield. We have this ability to revitalize our thought processes of what we want down in these areas, to increase the life of these residents, to be enlarged now by all the fun and events that's going to be created around them. And that'll make the price, I think, of their value, the real estate, increase as well. Because all of this, you're in an area that is thriving.
Tying that together. I want to backtrack just a little, because I know first there's the Art Walk. You have been instrumental in that, and this seems like that really led up to a lot of what you're doing now. When you came up with that idea, what, 11 years ago or so?
Well, it's we're in our 12th year. And, you know, we are March through October, but we kind of work other times of the year. Christmas, we do different things. And a lot of the artists have their own studios, and they're all small business owners. And our musicians that play, same thing. They're small business owners that are out looking for other gigs. So for 12 years, yes, we've had the Art Walk, and it started out as a third Thursday and was a backbone of third Thursday. And then third Thursday, I thought, kind of went to a different direction. So it was very evident at that point that we needed to split up to have 2 wonderful nights of entertainment a month. And that way we could have the indoor art walking the art from gallery to spot, from spot. And then we could also have the wonderful celebration outside with the music and different people be involved in the community. So it's working out very well for both. And I think the community now knows how this is working, that we have 2 of these events. And then different businesses have come down purely because, I mean, I was definitely saw the quote in that video, but Jason Miller, Instant Karma, said, you know, he came down to that area because the Art Walk, because he saw what was going on and he wanted to be part of that. He wanted his business to be in that, and that is what I'm looking for, is people that see that as a very big plus, that the arts are so thriving here with the Spiva Center for the Arts, Urban Art Gallery, Local Color, and we have many photographers that have their studios downtown that are making their living off of taking photographs of beautiful women to beautiful scenery, and branding for catalogs. I mean, there's many things they're doing. And so we have all these different things, and plus we have artists in their own studios painting, and we have some musicians down there. So with all this going on, we needed a name. Right. And so that's why I thought, you know, it's way past time, because before the tornado of 2011, we were on a pace to actually do this, and then it got changed.
Right, everything changed.
And management changed, everything kind of changes, so I had to go back to it. And I thought, you know, we've had 12 years of Art Walk, we've got all these things going on, and one of the major components would be the Art Center, the complex coming up, and within the 2 years should be built. All these things, but we have to have a name. And so I went to the city and talked to the council and showed support and information, as I'm talking about today, of having Joplin Arts District. And so we got that resolution in May, and now it's time to start working on that branding, logo, etc. And I'm going to be bringing in the arts groups that are in that neighborhood to help create that identity, logo, and branding information.
Right. Well, that was my next question. How do, now that you have these ideas, and we want to, how do we get, who's going to be working together to make this work? So it sounds like you're going to be reaching out to others and share ideas. Let's think as a group or as a community.
Right. There'll be many committees before it's over with for different purposes, but this is something that is manageable, and you know, we will have to figure out where we want it. I feel there's 3 places myself that it needs to be seen as you're entering on B Street, when you're entering on 12th Street, and somewhere right in the middle on a placement where it's very visible.
Right.
And then there'll be wayfinding signs that'll be sort of like the city signs where it says this is a park, you know, down the street.
Downtown this direction.
Right, be added. And I'm hoping to find funding for banners, that we could put some banners going through these streets. So maybe a couple on each block. And these are dreams, but I think everything can be obtained because there's more than myself that's very excited about this opportunity. And if you have a business down in a vibrant area like this, this really should make you want to be involved in this, because you'll have a say on many of the things around you that's going to help your business grow.
In turn affect your business
Absolutely.
in the future. Now, I've heard about 501c3. Explain what that involves as far as, I guess that's more the formal organization of an arts district.
Yes, well, you basically want to get your IRS standing as a nonprofit, but there's other ways that may not all be a nonprofit, but it's basically, you know, getting a bylaws made by a committee, so you're going to have a board, bylaws, a budget to formulate, incorporate, and then go to your 501. So there's many steps involved in this, and then you look at feasibility study of, you know, we're going to have a budget. Well, we've got to have some money to put in there, and what would we want to do with those monies, and who would be able to get some loans or get grants from us. Right. So there's a lot of other things involved, but you know, I'm trying to focus one thing at a time that's real obvious, and that is definitely signage. Branding opportunities that we all can take advantage of as soon as possible.
Right. So that in itself is a big project, it sounds like.
It is.
You know, what is the logo, what is the look that when people see it, they're going to say, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. And to me, it needs to be simple. It can't be real complex, but it has to be something that's your identity, and long-term.
Right.
And so, and then it's got to be always good in black and white and color.
Right. You have to think of all the production things you're going to do with it. Right.
Because I have been involved in many organizations from the beginning on how we get started, and you know what all this is to look like, and I know that different people come in and have different ideas years later, but that main thing is try to be very in this case, this is a major undertaking, and we're going to want this to be identifiable so Tulsa and everybody else remembers this logo or this iconic look, and they're going to be looking for it when they come to town. And so hopefully we will get that sign on the highway one day, because we'll have deserved it, that says turn here.
And that's a step in itself, just to get the transportation to tie into help you doing those things as well. So developing the plan and working with people. Since you have had this resolution, have you been hearing from a lot of the other stakeholders or people in that district already saying,
well, I think a lot of them don't really realize what it is. They don't realize how it can impact them. They think it's just for those arts people. But it's for everybody, because if you're within this perimeter, you're going to have a great focus put upon you. So you may want to clean up a little bit better on the outside of your building. You might want to make more vibrant certain areas of this neighborhood. The cultural area that we have designated is in the historic, so it has to go through the historic preservation for different signage and things you're going to do. But at the same time, we all need to, it's summertime, it's the best time to get the outdoors, the frontage of your building to look very attractive. And again, that's adding to that key factor of vibrancy, color, signage, planters with flowers and street lights, and we have a lot of this, of course, now downtown because of all the changes. And wheelchair accessibility is so fantastic, because almost all of our buildings have been updated
level
for that.
entries for people
Absolutely,
coming in.
a lot more so, and wider entries, as well as the streets are so good because everything's been updated to standards, and children and everybody, you know, it's a safe area. We've got sidewalks on a great deal of this area. I think almost all of it has it, and for the people who live around it. Because you know, you cross the street and you're not in that designated area.
There's a line there on a
but
map.
That doesn't mean you can't still do the artsy stuff because you're going to be seen. If you're right there, you'll still be seen. So if I look at this store and I'm driving down this street and you're over here, you still have great opportunities. So anybody around the perimeter still has great opportunities. And in the houses, you know, again, get one of these houses, start looking for some real estate there. Or if you haven't, start thinking about your tenancy. If you're going to have a new renter or a new person in there, kind of be looking at, hey, I would like to be part of this by having this going on at my building. Maybe paint your house, do some things to make you look pretty, because you're going to be in that cultural arts district, and we want to make sure everybody gets involved in this in some way. So it's not like spending a lot of money, but it's just clean up, just, you know, put a little lipstick on her.
So it really kind of ties into that revitalization of the whole area. In addition to we're going to bring things in, it's just it's going to be revitalized. Some buildings that maybe have been sitting there for a while and look kind of dreary can be brought back to life.
Absolutely. And get excied about this because this is going to be a big deal.
Okay. So what is your timetable, your idea? You've been talking about, you know, wanting to have this identification and the branding. Do you have any goal for by a certain time period we want to be able to have this in place?
Right, in July, I'm hoping to have that over with, that we know exactly where we are on that. So the meetings with people will be starting the first part of July, and then hopefully we can come up with this concept pretty quickly, and then we could start looking for the funding and different opportunities or donors and spots that we wanted, and try to see what monies we can put together and try to at least get 3 signs up. I would love to go for the banners, if not for this year, by next year.
Next summer,
because I think that is very important going up and down the street for people to see that same color, that the wording or the logo here and there as they go, wondering, well, what is all that? And then, you know, I also think possibly, you know, one of the funding mechanisms is going to be dues, and that's doable, and that would come with a nice sticker that has that icon, that logo on there, which will be on your window. Every business having this, or house that's part of the business concept, having these brings conversation, and the people from outside will identify you as more, we understand you're in that district because you got that on there.
Now, down the road, do you see opportunities for either state or federal funding through different arts programs or community development programs? So
I do. Again, in the homework, I looked at funding, opportunities. I looked at statutes and rules that have already been established, and possibilities and grants, and that's why, you know, I bring up Arts America, many National Endowment of the Arts. There's a lot of different roads to travel that is speaking with your own people that understand cultural designated areas, as well as your legislators and different people. So I definitely see that before next year's over, we will be discussing and probably working with some of these opportunities.
Great. And of course the individual, I guess, investors or people who just have commitment to the art could help out as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, for donation or investment, it doesn't have to be necessarily someone within that 56 blocks. But for those that are in there, you should be more apt to thinking that this is you we're talking about. So whether you're an arts or a non-arts business, it would behoove you to bring some dollars to the table because it's going to help you. So I would say probably 10 cents to the dollar. You put in 10 cents, you're going to get $1 back. That's how this is going to work out.
And they'll really benefit throughout that. So looking down the road as far as establishment and the process that you're going through, I don't know how many years I could say, or a year or whatever, to have people can have Joplin as this destination, as your goal, that they can know that they can come to the arts district and there's always something happening. They can see things.
Well, I'm going to say less than 5 years.
Great.
Absolutely. Because we're going to have, again, you know, we'll have the Cornell complex, which is going to bring people from at least the 4-state area, I think, coming in. But we're gonna have more and more arts businesses. The SPI will be moving over, but you know, who's gonna go in their old building? You know, I'm just kind of wondering. You know, who's going to end up being down in the building at Missouri Southern at the library? You know, which department's going to go down there? Could it be the arts department? Who knows? But, you know, arts comes in many forms. People who are even graphic artists are artists. People who are making catalogs or branding materials for other businesses, that's an art form. So again, there's so much that can be brought to the table here. We all need to be thinking about how can we become more vibrant, because that is going to be a key factor. When you talk about going somewhere, a lot of people just say, that Tulsa Arts District. I'm going up the crossroads to the Art Walk. I'm going to Springfield downtown.
They identify where they're going because they know something's happening.
They don't say I'm going to Joe's Cafe. They say this community,
this area.
Because they're planning on doing 3 or 4 things in that community, and they like that community, so they bring that as like it's a place, and it is. It's a big place, a big destination, and sometimes there's other districts that's right around there, so they're going to go to that one and that one on their way. They may stay all night. They may stay there a weekend. And that's what we do. We go off. We need to start thinking more of vacationing, staycation,
bring people here.
Joplin staycationing, and using some of the wonderful things that are being developed here.
Now, if someone who's watching has questions, what's the best approach? Should they contact you, or if they really,
well, contact me, and we can. My phone number is 417-438-5931. I will soon be putting together a Facebook page that will be called Joplin Arts District, and you know, if you've got questions or if you want to be involved, please speak up, because this is your opportunity to build from scratch. But you know, we're going to cultivate this, and we're going to harvest pretty quick.
Great. So a lot of things happening in the future. We'll be back talking in the future about what you've accomplished. Well, I really appreciate you giving some information for our viewers today and updating.
Thank you.
And looking forward to the future for them.
I am too.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining me this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on the station. We'll see you then.